Dexter, the most sinister killer. In Latin, sinister simply meant left or on the left side. However, in ancient times, left-handedness was often viewed with suspicion and superstition. People believed that left-handed individuals were unlucky, untrustworthy, or even evil. This negative association eventually led to sinister being used to describe something threatening or ominous. On the other hand, Dexter comes from the Latin word for right, or on the right side. In contrast to the negative connotations of left-handedness, right-handedness was seen as a sign of skill, correctness, and good fortune. This positive association led to Dexter being used to describe someone who is clever, skillful, or adept. Do you know Dexter Morgan? Isn't it weird that the most sinister man's name is Dexter? I am certain the name Dexter seems to have been chosen deliberately for its positive connotations of skill and cleverness, creating a contrast with the character's sinister actions. When you receive a prescription for your eyes or ears, you might encounter some puzzling abbreviations like AS, AD, OD, and OS. These Latin abbreviations are commonly used by healthcare professionals to indicate which eye or ear the prescription applies to. OD stands for Oculus Dexter, which means right eye in Latin. OS stands for Oculus Sinister, which means left eye in Latin. The word oculus comes from the Latin word for eye. It is the root of many English words related to vision, such as ocular, binoculars, and monocle. These abbreviations are used to specify which eye a particular medication, lens, or treatment is intended for. For example, if you see OD 2.50 on your prescription, it means that your right eye requires a corrective lens with a power of 2.50 diopters. AD stands for auris dextra, which means right ear in Latin. AS stands for auris sinistra, which means left ear in Latin. The word auris is the Latin word for ear. It is the root of English words related to hearing, such as oral and oracle. Similar to OD and OS, these abbreviations are used to indicate which ear a medication or treatment is prescribed for. For instance, if your prescription reads AD eardrops TID, it means that the eardrops should be administered to your right ear 3 times a day. TID is another abbreviation meaning ter in die, or 3 times a day. In Latin, sinister is an adjective meaning left, while sinistra is the feminine form of the adjective. Since oculus is a masculine noun in Latin, it pairs with the masculine form sinister to create oculus sinister. Similarly, auris is a feminine noun, so it pairs with the feminine form sinistra to create auris sinistra. OU, oculus uterque. In some cases, you might also come across the abbreviation OU, which stands for oculus uterque, meaning both eyes in Latin. This is used when the same prescription applies to both eyes. Let's take a look at the sample prescription. You'll see the word GTT, which means drop in Latin. The abbreviation GTT comes from the Latin word gutta, which means drop. Now, next to GTT, there's a symbol that looks like a capital T with a dot above it. That symbol tells you the number of drops. Here's how it works. If there is one T with a dot above it, it means 1 drop. If there are 2 T's with dots above them, it means 2 drops. If there are 3 T's with dots above them, it means 3 drops. For example, if your prescription says T with 1 dot GTT, it means
1 drop. Now look at the abbreviation OD on the prescription. That stands for Oculus Dexter, which is Latin for right eye. So, whenever you see OD, it means the medication is for the right eye. Finally, we have BID, which you've probably seen before. It's short for bis in die, meaning twice a day. So, if your prescription says T with 1.GTTOD bid, here's what it means. Instill 1 drop in the right eye twice a day. Let's add another layer for those of you wondering about ears. Example, T, T, G, T, T, A, D, B, I, D. The same structure applies to ear medications, but instead of using OD for the right eye, you'll see abbreviations like AD for the right ear. AD stands for Oris Dexter, right ear. S stands for Oris Sinister, left ear. So, if your prescription says T with 2 dots GTTAD bid, it means instill 2 drops in the right ear twice a day. To sum up, the T with dots symbol tells you the number of drops, GT means drop, and the rest of the abbreviations tell you where to apply the medication and how often. Check your prescription carefully, and now you'll know exactly what it means. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time for more tips.